Good morning. It is Tuesday, March the 10th, 2026. Today's poem, The Vows by Michael Simmons Roberts. We pledge to wake each morning face to face, to shun the orders of a busy sun. We promise to disturb each other's peace. And we will, yes, gaze at the pining moon, and we'll pick out the brine-blown glass gems from the strand, and we'll read our future scratched into a stone. We both believe that silence turns to sand, and promise not to add to the unsaid. We meet here as the raging sea meets the land. We want the risen life before we're dead. Our passion will be squandered more than spent, and we hereby swear to spend our days in bed. We're naked till we wear each other's scent and recognize it quicker than our own. You start and you finish me. You are my extent. Good healthy dose of passion to begin today off with, because why not? What we do is an act of passion. What we create comes from the heart of us, from the very soul and spirit that we were created to bear. And so a quick observation for today. Most people, myself included for a very long time, think that creativity means freedom, endless possibility, no rules, no structure, no limits. But after spending most of my life on stage, sitting at a table, rehearsal rooms, green rooms, airports, God's sake, airports, and then speaking to people on cameras like this one, there's something a little more counterintuitive when it comes to creating art. Limits are not the enemy of creativity. They are the lifeblood of it. They are the reason creativity works at all. In fact, I'm going to go further than that. Limits are what allow your voice to show up clearly. Without them, most of us are just going to drift like an empty paper cup on an ocean's wave, pushed this way and that way. When I first started performing, like seriously, like making a profession out of it, I believed in the myth of inspiration. I thought great storytelling happened when the mood struck, when energy was right, when the stars aligned, when the muse rang my doorbell and wanted to come in. And occasionally, of course, that happens. I'm not going to discount the idea of inspiration or motivation suddenly tripping over your muse begging for quarters on a sidewalk. But it's not often enough to build a complete life on. What actually built my voice was something a lot less glamorous. Structure. Yeah, and go right back to it. For example, for one long stretch of my career, I was performing nearly every night, 6 nights a week, on the streets or in the restaurants or doing the occasional private party or corporate thing as all these things gelled together. It was the same view, though, standing on my corner, going to my restaurants, doing what I was doing. Same structure, same table, same basic time frame, same ritual of preparation. And at first that sounds like repetition, but what it actually created was a container. And inside that container, something really cool started to happen. The story got deeper. The more that I talked about it, the more that I performed or practiced or got in front of people and actually just let the creativity go in that structure, in that place, my real voice started to emerge. I started to take the chances to tell the truth behind all the lies I was telling as I did my little magic tricks. You cut things that don't belong, you add things that'll help lift the structure again and again and again. Joy and repetition, joy and repetition, joy and repetition. If you stay inside the limits long enough, the work is going to reveal itself. And that's the part a lot of people misunderstand about storytelling, performing, putting paint on the canvas, putting words on the page, putting your feet on the stage and facing everybody else. Voice is not invented. You're born with a certain gift, don't get me wrong, but your actual voice is revealed through constraint. I'll give you a better example. Think about it this way. Every meaningful art form has boundaries. A sonnet has 14 lines, exactly 14. Haiku has 17 syllables in a very specific pattern. Stage performance has a time limit, a time for rehearsals, a time that the curtain is going to go up. A good talk, a good speech has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a theme that you need to stick to, that you need to put yourself inside those guidelines. And they are not restrictions, they are invitations. They force you to decide what really matters. And deciding what matters is at the heart of a good story. Without limit, everything tries to come in. Every little tangent, every little. I'm going to get in trouble for this. You ever watch the current president, speak? And how he finds it very difficult to stay on one specific theme? How his mind will latch onto something and go off on this incredibly weird tangent that doesn't seem to make any sense to anybody but himself. Maybe not even himself, but he calls it weaving. But it's really losing focus. I've seen so many speakers do it, amateur and professional sometimes. Within the limits that you set for yourself, within the limits of your context, you have to make choices, and the choices are where your identity actually lives. People worry about finding their own voice. They think it's some hidden treasure waiting to be discovered out in the wilderness. But voice usually is just a whole lot simpler. Inside the quiet discipline of showing up to the same venue, to the same spot, night after night after night, or again and again and again, sitting down and putting words on the computer because it's 9 o'clock and it is time to write. I'm going to write for 2 hours, or whatever your constraint is. It's doing that again and again and again, and reflecting on the work again and again, and improving and trimming and editing and making a commitment to the boundaries that you have, and especially the ones you've set for yourself. You start to see yourself more clearly inside of your own restrictions. Here's a practical example. When I prepare a story for the stage, I give myself a strict boundary: 10 minutes. Not 11, not 15, not 9, 10 minutes. And that first came into practice in working at the Magic Castle. When I was put into a show has to be exactly this amount of time because we want our guests to be able to see as many shows as possible in this arena that we've invited them into. So my show had to be between 18 and 20. If I went over 20, I heard about it immediately, and I mean immediately. And I had to trim something. I had to prepare something. I took to putting a very small watch down with a timer so that I could glance, because I had a tendency to ramble. So I could glance at a moment and see I've got exactly this much time left. How can I fit what I need to fit in that time limit? Having that forces decisions, makes the details, the important details, really matter. Deciding what sentence is going to carry the right weight, what joke is going to play or not play, what needs to be said. And as you do this, it becomes cleaner, it hones, it becomes sharper, more human, because your limits are going to force your honesty. And going a step further, the same thing applies to creative life in general. The scheduled blog creates a limit. Daily practice creates a limit. A residency, a mentorship, writing a book, all of these are containers. This is the shape of the work you're making. Step inside, commit, and let the work change you. Commitment is rarely about mood. Mood is unpredictable. Mood wakes up late. Mood wakes up and turns the alarm off and sleeps a little while longer. Mood is unpredictable. Commitment is quiet and focused and sharpens. It is a whetstone for the art you want to give from yourself out to the world or to whoever your audience is. Do it whether the mood wants to or not. Once that decision is made, creativity often shows up very quickly. Not because it felt inspired, but because it was invited into a structure, a home, a place to be quiet and to create. And structure, as it turns out, is incredibly generous. If you're an artist, if you are a speaker, a performer, a storyteller, or someone who just wants to communicate more in depth, I would encourage this experiment. Instead of asking, how or where do I find my voice? Ask a different question. What container will help reveal it? As an example, magic tricks are my container. That's the big container that everything else fits inside as well. But I'm going to tell this story, and I'm going to do it on the course of doing professional conjuring, traditional magic tricks, card tricks, coin tricks. That container has to reveal what I want to say. And I want it to be more than look at this nifty thing I can do. I want it to be look at this thing that changed my life. Look at this story that gave me a better perspective. Let me share that with you. Maybe your container is just simple as deciding to make a weekly video or a series of essays or a rehearsal rhythm that you refuse to break because it is a job and you are expected to show up. The specific form is really just the commitment to stay inside of a container and allow your work to deepen. And I've really come to trust this process myself. So after many, many years of missteps and misspeakings, I no longer wait for that inspiration. I build rooms where inspiration can be comfortable showing up. I set a table that my muse would like to sit and dine and feast with me at, so that I may reveal her and she may reveal me. I build these rooms, a stage in my mind, a table, a blank page, an empty canvas, a camera, everything set with its own limits. And inside those limits, stories take root and begin to breathe. So, if you've been waiting for the one perfect mood to arrive before doing more creative work, let me offer a gentler path. Choose the container, honor the limit, and show up. And keep showing up again and again and again. Your voice is probably already there. Just needs the structure sturdy enough to reveal it. Your truth is within you. Invite it into a comfortable place. Pull up a chair. Pick the right pen. Pick the right brush. Pick the right deck of cards to reveal what you want your heart to say. Creativity is coming to the table. And the box, the limitations, the boundaries are the greenhouse where they will start to breathe and grow and take root. The greenhouse protects from the outside elements. It gives a structure and a place and a comfortable spot where the fruit might come forward. So that's your thought challenge for the day. How can you show up a little bit more? There's plenty of room at the table for all creatives. So let me know. Let me know what your box is. Let me know what your container is. What it is, the limits that you have set for yourself to advance your own creativity. Leave me some comments below. I'd love to hear about what you think your boundaries might be. And if you've already done this, if you are already working within a certain set of limited boundaries and you are starting to see the growth, I'd love to hear about that as well. All right. I got practice to do. I have new ideas to put on paper and into my hands. I hope there's love where you are, and I look forward to next time.